that at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because it's only fashion. It's taught me that the fashion world is a lot like the world at large, and there are nice people in it, and there are not so nice people in it. There are highs, there are lows. I feel like I've really learned a lot about the nature of life through my adventures in the trenches of fashion. I think that's been the most poignant thing. It's hard to really say, my career, because my career and my life are just so, intertwined. It's so much of, what I do for a living is just, what I do for a living. I would say that one of the greatest influences in my life, and in terms of influencing my work ethic, has been my late great dad. His motto was "Don't be afraid and never give up," and that's how I've conducted my life and certainly my career. Professional achievement. Probably surviving as the host of fashion television for 25 years. I think that's a pretty big one. That wasn't always easy, but I stood my ground and held on to my turf. Shoes, I think definitely. Great stilettos. I mean, expensive shoes are really a big downfall for me. You can get a lot of shoes now that aren't necessarily that expensive, that look fantastic. But at the end of the day, you do need a few really top-notch shoes in your wardrobe just to sort of elevate yourself and your entire wardrobe. Paris. I should say visit because, it's my favorite city to work in, it's my favorite city to live in, it's my favorite city to sightsee in, it's my favorite city to, interview designers in and see fashion shows in and see art in. I just love everything about Paris, so I'd say Paris, whether it's for just visiting or working or living. Probably honesty, and sometimes we really try to be as honest as we can be, and I don't even know myself sometimes, what the truth is, but just trying to be honest, I think that's a pretty good quality. Honesty. And there's something to be said for loyalty too. I think that's a good one. I certainly try to be loyal, and I really appreciate people who are that way. Well, depending on the time, I could say probably Iggy Pop, because even though I had an easy time interviewing him, there was one time when he was being very difficult, and I actually never walked out of an interview, but I did walk out of an interview with Iggy Pop. That was in the old rock and roll days, and I think you can probably still see it on YouTube. It was a classic moment, and I just don't really have much time for people who come to an interview, not in their right minds, let's say. I don't think he was in his right mind on that particular night. No, I don't really get embarrassed by anything that, on television or anything that doesn't really go my way. I just, sometimes it might make me feel sad, angry, surprised. I might end up laughing at myself, but embarrassing, I don't really think of it that way, because no matter what happens on TV, when I'm covering something, no matter how badly I get snubbed or how, rudely someone might treat me or something that I say that's really sort of goofy, we usually run with it. We usually put it on television anyway, so, I don't really get embarrassed by too much anymore. Not hanging on to more of my old stuff from the 60s. Which is crazy, because how many schmuttas can you stuff in your closet? And I certainly always try to, put my stuff back out there in the world. But when I think of some of the wonderful old pieces that I had from back in the 60s, from Carnaby Street, and, my first pair of go-go boots, and, that was a very special era, and I know my daughters would really have appreciated that stuff now, and it probably would have been worth a small fortune, so I guess that's my one big fashion regret. A little black dress. I just think that's an absolute must-have. Dress it up, dress it down. As long as it's a dress that you feel really good in and it's got, flattering lines. I just think it's the most practical piece of clothing that a woman can have. I don't know really, because nothing in fashion ever surprises me. I mean, that's the one thing that, we can expect from fashion, to always be surprised. So I don't really, think there's been anything that I thought was, that god-awful ugly that, it should never have seen the light of day. I sort of celebrate, all trends, and some of the ones that I'm not too fond of, I just sort of, I'm glad to see them go, of course, but I don't know if anything's ever surprised me in the world of fashion. Oh, always. Always. Actually, I feel bad if that doesn't happen. Hey, don't you know who I am? I can tell you a thing or two. Yes, of course, I'm happy to give it, but I want people to realize it is only advice. I mean, in a way, we're living in an age where we're all fashion experts. I really appreciate everyone's take on fashion, and just because I've sort of seen a lot and talked to a lot of high-profile fashion people doesn't necessarily mean that I always know the right answers or what's right for an individual. I think sometimes people know themselves the best. I think it's a very tired concept in a way, these like makeover shows, and we're going to tell you how to dress. I'm really not liking that as much as I am the notion of celebrating people who just have great natural personal style. And I don't think there are too many rights or wrongs in fashion. If it feels good, I think people should wear it. To both, but pantyhose definitely. Yeah, I mean Spanx. Spanx are good. I mean, there are some other garments other than just the brand name Spanx that serve that same purpose. And once in a while, if you're wearing something super skinny and you've got to really just get rid of the bulges, it's pretty wonderful what a garment of that nature can do. That being said, they're dreadfully uncomfortable, and I sort of got to the point where I'd rather diet and go to the gym than pull one of those things over my butt. Covering the royal wedding, but that's very impending. That's coming out very, very soon. Coming out. Yeah, covering the royal wedding, definitely looking forward to that. My fall clothes, because I love fall, and there's some great clothes coming down the pipes for fall. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to vacation too. I think that would be nice to have a little bit of downtime. It's been such a whirlwind the past few months, but I certainly love what I do, so even if I do take a vacation, it won't be for too long.